Good afternoon, folks. Mike Wells, your World Explorer. Today, we're going to pick out some maple burl that's in our secret stash up top there, and we're going to process it into pen blanks. We've got a whole bunch of dead wood over there that's been treated. It's spalted, a whole bunch of spalted oak all throughout here. We've got some laurel that we've wrapped. It's spalting as we speak. So that'll be like a year-long wait. But over here we have lots of different, you see my rocks here. I also do rock hounding and all that fun stuff. We've got a bunch of different woods to choose from. What we want is this one right here. This is a nice maple burl. You look at the figuring in there, really good. It's been sitting in here for years, okay, and I've done nothing with it. It's just been sitting up here, but now I want to actually do something with this. So we'll go ahead and process this. If you look over here, I have a very rare redwood burl. Very nice redwood. It's got a lot of eyes, tons of figuring. Got that for a really good price years and years ago. So FYI, all of this wood is completely dry. This is an oak plank. It's got tons of figuring in it. At some point in the future we will process that. There's a spalted laurel oak plank, and then another live oak plank. So that we just have a bunch of cookies here with a little bit of bug intrusion of the Brazilian pepper. Now another thing too, something that's extremely rare is the Brazilian pepper burl. That's what this is, a burl knot. So I have this here. It's been curing, I don't know, like 8 years, but these are perfectly dry. We don't have to, we're not waiting on them to cure any further. This is a burl knot from the Brazilian pepper that's spalted heavily, but it's hard enough now and dry enough to where we can process that at some point. I've got over here in my secret stash some of the first resin blanks I've ever poured. Okay, this is Eliade pine. It's the pine core. It has a turpentine resin in that pine core, which keeps the bugs from eating the pine wood. There's a pine cone in there. This was just one big experiment right here. Maybe someday I'll process those and make some pens out of those. I already have in the past made pens out of these specific pieces, but there's a ton of different colors, layers there. I degassed while I was doing this. I've got these types of blanks as well. Tons of different colors. Yeah, so if you're interested in those at some point in the future, I'll be making pens out of those. Like I said, they're my first. Then I took some termite-eaten wood and I tried to pull the air completely out, but you see here I was unsuccessful. However, if I backfill this a second time and degas it, I will be 100% successful. Here's another one, but this is doable. This right here, a lot of folks, when they see termite eaten wood, they don't see something valuable. They see garbage. Not me. I see a ton of opportunity. The good thing with that termite eaten wood is it has natural, basically smooth nature lines. I can't achieve that on my own. I need the termites to do that for me. So anyhow, let's go look at our cutting setup, and we're going to go ahead and process this really awesome looking maple burl. All right, folks, here I have the 10-inch miter saw. Problem is the blade guard has completely shattered off of this saw. So this saw right now is not safe to use for anybody who's just beginning, or it's really not safe to use, but for me, I'm just going to proceed with extra caution. But for all of you out there, I wouldn't recommend doing this. Just go ahead and get yourself another saw. I don't have the funds yet to be able to pull that off, so I have to use what I have. This right here, safety glasses. I'm going to need my pencil. I'm going to need a tape measure, earplug for my hearing. I only got one good ear. Obviously, I'm going to need my wood. You'll find a lot of big blocks like this on eBay. This is 10 inches by 8 1/4. And now we need to see here 2, and basically 2 1/4. So how do I want to process this? Well, if we look at the grain here, we've got basically the figuring, and the eyes go this way and that way. So if we processed blanks to go like this, they wouldn't have what we're looking for. So what we want is to show the face here. So if we've got 10 inches, if I cut a section here, 2 1/2, 2 1/2, 2 1/2, I'll get about what I'm looking for. So that's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and process like that, 10 1/2. If you divide it by 4, 10 inches, you'll get 2 1/2 roughly. But you also have to take into account the thickness of the saw blade. You're losing that. So all I really need is between 2 1/8 and 2 1/2 size pen blank. The closer I get to 2 inches, the more risky it is when making these pen blanks. Okay, so I measured my 2 1/2 inch, my 5 inch, and my 7 1/2 inch cut points. I'm also going to use this speed square so that I can get some straight lines down to the other side. Now I got my lines. I'm going to go ahead and cut on the miter saw. First I'm going to remove my little jig piece there. Alright, here we go. Now you never want to have your hand under that blade, so I'm always going to wait for the blade to stop before I pull it up, because I don't want to accidentally touch it since I don't have my blade guard on here. So I'm lining up, pull up, here we are. Now I can always check too, just make sure I'm not wasting a whole bunch of material. Are my lines still good? I would say so. Now there we have it. Some nice wood. We're ready to go. Our pen blanks are actually going to be here to here. So we got to cut about 3/4 of an inch to maybe 7/8. So we'll cut them and then cut down the center. Can we get away with making more blanks than that? Let's see if we can. So it's 2 1/2 inches, right? We got 3/4, 1, 2, 3/4. No, I don't think we can. So we're gonna have some waste, but that's just the name of the game when you purchase a piece of wood that is this size, this thickness. So I'm gonna put my jig back on. It's got the 2 measurements. That's just before 2 inches, and that's 2 1/2 inches. All right, my little jig is set up in there. Now basically for me, I bring it out to right about there before I make my cuts. Here we go. Alright, so if we look at this, how thick is it? That right there is about 3/4 of an inch. Now if it's, looks like that's 2 1/4 by 2 1/2. So the question now is, can we get 3 blanks out of this or just 2? If we want that face, we'll get 2 this way. But if we went for that face, which I don't know, it's not the prettiest face, but this side don't look so bad. But this is definitely the face that we want. So, but if we did go the opposite direction, we could probably get 3, because you only need about 3/4 of an inch. So there's another 3/4, and then you got all that play. But like I said, you still got the thickness of the saw blade that's going to be taken out of here. So we're just going to go ahead and stick to this direction. So here we go. And there you have it. Not bad. Now we'll take this side and do the same thing. Now you notice I've got the piece that I'm cutting off to the right. That's because I need to have something to grab onto over here. And what's going to keep this piece of wood from going anywhere when I put the saw down onto it is this piece right here. It stops it. So it gives me good support. And there you have it. You can see how dry this wood is because that blade is kind of slightly burning it. But we'll keep going. Okay, what I'm going to do here, I want to go ahead and cut a piece off here and then try to do it the other direction, see if we can get some good faces that way. So let's do that. And you see that kind of got a wedge cut a little bit. I don't like that, but we'll work with it. And then you got this piece in here that might weaken the opportunity for this to be a really, really good one. So let's give it a whirl though. We're gonna go this way instead of this way. This is 2 1/2 inches. This is 2 1/4. So we're gonna cut 2 1/4 inch blanks, but you'll get 3. Let's see what the faces look like when we cut these. Okay, so this is what the face looks like on that one. The other face, another face, and another face. So it's not most desirable looking, but it might do. We'll see. You got that right there. See how much different it looks? I mean, that's where all the eyes are. So you decrease the value of the pen when your blanks aren't cut correctly with the correct faces. This one here, you see that? That kind of messed me up a little bit, but that doesn't mean this is trash. I could backfill this with resin and we might have something neat after this. Now that face doesn't look that bad. That's a good looking face. If you can get all the faces to look like that, but by the way that the grain of the wood runs with these burls, then you're in good shape. So I'm going to process all this out, all of these, this one, these two as well. and I'll show you the result at the end. All right, folks, so I got to those really sketchy looking spots in the wood where the bark actually cut all the way through the wood. So what I decided to do was take and put a bunch of super glue in the seam. Okay, so that's what I did. Going forward, I'm going to set these to the side, these specific square pieces, let them harden completely, and try to put a bunch more super glue in this seam. That way in the future I can process this a lot more easily, and it's not going to crumble and fall apart on me. But these make for really neat pieces because they have a lot of features. All right, folks, here we are. Now, here are all the Burl blanks I was able to produce from that one big piece of wood. Now, here are blank halves. So, going forward, I thought it would be interesting to take these, right, and glue them together to produce one blank. I think it's going to look weird at first, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm just going to experiment with that going forward, but for the most part, these blanks, they turned out the way I was hoping they would. They look pretty good. Going forward, I'm going to be making some pens out of these. I want to make some fountain pens. I want to make some slimline pens. I'm going to make all kinds of pens. And you saw my wood stack earlier in this video. Now, I'd have to dedicate a lot of time to be able to make as many pens as I would like to make out of all that wood. But I'm afraid I might not live, that many years. I mean, it's going to take over 100 years to process all that wood and make pens out of it myself. So I don't know. I might be offering some of this stuff online on my eBay store for sale, just to kind of help me move some of this stuff, because like I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to use it all just single-handedly. Anyhow, folks, pretty soon I'm going to make a pen out of this material, so stay tuned for that video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as that helps the channel grow. And stay tuned, because I got a lot more pen and woodworking projects in the making, ready to come. Have a great day.